Today on People Now, a woman dies from flesh-eating bacteria after eating oysters. We'll tell you what happened and what you should know about safely eating oysters.
James Franco denies sexual harassment allegations, and Michael Douglas preemptively denies a sexual harassment allegation before it goes public. We have details.
Rapper G-Eazy ends his relationship with H&M as fallout continues from the company's controversial ad that's causing outrage.
Mariah Carey wants to play a cop opposite Sharon Stone, but she has one very Mariah requirement.
He's my son too now. I have 4 kids now.
He's in there, right?
He's in there, yes.
Yeah. Yolanda Hadid opens up to us about daughter Gigi and Zayn Malik, plus how her own new love is changing her life.
Plus, former Bachelorette Andi Dorfman is here telling us all about her single lady adventures in New York City.
It's all live today on People Now. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to People Now. Great to see you today. So much to get to. Here's what you need to know and what's trending, beginning with this tragic story. A woman from Texas has died after contracting a flesh-eating bacteria after eating raw oysters. It all started when Jeanette LeBlanc went crabbing with friends and family during a trip to Louisiana back in September on Lake Pontchartrain. Now, on the way back, LeBlanc, her wife Vicky, and 3 others picked up a sack of oysters from a market. Just 2 days later, the 55-year-old was in the hospital. Now, Vicky exclusively tells People that after they bought the oysters, it was LeBlanc who shucked them and who, quote, ate more than everybody, like a dozen more than everybody else, and nobody else got sick. 2 days later, though, Vicky found LeBlanc struggling to breathe. Vicky says that her lower legs had broken out into a rash and, quote, she was in really bad shape. Now, Vicky rushed her to a Baton Rouge, Louisiana hospital where doctors first thought that she was suffering from an allergic reaction, but then discovered that the woman was infected with Vibrio, a flesh-eating bacterial infection that people can contract after consuming raw or undercooked seafood or exposing a wound to seawater. Now, this is according to the Centers for Disease Control. The woman's stepdaughter also revealed to People that LeBlanc suffered a small scrape while shucking the oysters. Now, according to the CDC, Vibrio bacteria finds its way into oysters through coastal waters where oysters live and feed. Doctors told the woman's family they believe LeBlanc ate oysters that carried the harmful bacteria. LeBlanc remained in the hospital for 21 days, undergoing several surgeries as doctors fought to save her life. Her family says that she knew she was dying and understood what was happening to her as things took a turn for the worse. Her stepdaughter describes the horror as the infection took hold, saying, quote, it was like her skin was dying. It looked like something was eating her skin. LeBlanc passed away on October 15th. It's such a tragic story. You can stay on people.com for more details, and we'll have updates a little later in the show. On to this for now. James Franco is denying the sexual harassment allegations recently aimed at him on Twitter. During his appearance on Tuesday's The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, the talk show host mentioned the Breakfast Club actress Ali Sheedy's now deleted tweet during the Golden Globes calling out Franco. Her tweet said, why is James Franco allowed in? Said too much. And James Franco just won. Please never ever ask me why I left the film and TV business. That was her tweet. But Franco denied any wrongdoing, saying, quote, I have no idea what I did to Ali Sheedy. I directed her in a play off Broadway. I had nothing but a great time with her. Total respect for her. I have no idea why she was upset. He goes on to say that she, quote, took the tweet down and he can't speak for her. But during Sunday's Golden Globes, some other Twitter users were asking why Franco was wearing a Time's Up pin after sexual harassment allegations have been made against him in the past. Franco addressing those tweets, saying the things that I heard that were on Twitter are not accurate, but I completely support people coming out and being able to have a voice because they didn't have a voice for so long. And as for why he was wearing that Time's Up pin, he tells Colbert, I support change. I support 50-50 in 2020, which just means, people that are underrepresented, women, people of color, people in the LGBT community get positions, leadership positions, that they fill all positions that they have been deprived of. I completely believe in that, end quote. Now on to this. Michael Douglas taking an unusual step on Tuesday, revealing he has been accused of inappropriate behavior before the allegation went public. In an interview with Deadline, the 2-time Oscar-winning actor vehemently denies a former employee's claims that he, quote, masturbated in front of her 32 years ago. The employee also claims that he, quote, spoke raunchily or dirtily with friends of mine. which Douglas did not deny, saying, quote, "I will fess up to colorful language, but the issue of masturbating in front of her, that is something I've only heard about the last year." He goes on to add, quote, "This is a complete lie, fabrication, no truth to it whatsoever. It's extremely painful. I pride myself on my reputation in this business, not to mention the long history of my father and everything else. I don't have skeletons in my closet or anyone else who's coming out or saying this." Douglas is the son of legendary actor Kirk Douglas and is married to actress Catherine Zeta-Jones, with whom he has 2 children, ages 14 and 17. And about the effect these accusations have had on his family, Douglas tells Deadline, quote, "I tried to figure out why the hell would somebody do this. The part that hurt the worst is having to share something like this to your wife and your children. My kids are really upset. They've had to go to school worrying this is going to be in some article about me being a sexual harasser. They're scared and very uncomfortable." Douglas says he preferred to take control over the narrative, which is why he decided to get ahead of the allegation with his own statement. He explains, quote, "I had the choice of waiting for a story to come out, one that will clearly get picked up by other newspapers and magazines, and then have to sit there and try to defend myself, or try to share with the public a little ahead of the story my thoughts and concerns." Douglas maintains that he stands by the women who have spoken out against men in Hollywood and other industries, assuring, quote, "I support the Me Too movement with all my heart." But he says he is concerned that this allegation against him could actually set the movement back. He explains, quote, "Being accused without a chance to defend yourself in court, to not even really have the information in front of you to be able to argue or defend yourself, there is no due process, no chance of seeing evidence in front of me from my accuser. It worries me." Guys, rapper G-Eazy has followed The Weeknd's lead and ended his partnership with H&M following the company's controversial ad, which featured a young black model wearing a, quote, "coolest monkey in the jungle" hoodie. The rapper announced his decision on social media, replacing the original text with the words, "coolest king of the world." He writes this, "It's truly sad and disturbing that in 2018, something so racially and culturally insensitive could pass the eyes of so many." Twitter, of course, reacting to the image. One user writing, "H&M is disgusting. That was blatantly racist, and I don't know how it made it past the marketing team. No longer shopping there." Many also noticing the lack of diversity on the H&M board. This user pointing out that the board of directors is exclusively white, asking how can a global company not have blacks and Asians on their board? G-Eazy's H&M collection was announced last month and originally set for March 1st release. The rapper ended his statement by saying this, "I hope that this situation will serve as the wake-up call that H&M and other companies need to get on track and become culturally and racially aware, as well as more diverse at every level." H&M released a statement of their own saying they completely understand and are deeply sorry, but not everyone was quick to forgive. One Twitter user responding with this, "Apology not accepted. Don't you have a team who looks over these things? Look like you need more diversity at your headquarters. I'm available for hire." Another adding, "This coolest monkey in the jungle will never set foot in your stores." H&M has removed the sweater from online purchasing. Clearly, this is a conversation that's going to continue with regard to H&M, and obviously there's a broader conversation of racial dynamics in our country.
Yeah,
continues
we've
as well.
seen other stars split ways from them, so there's a lot of backlash from this.
For sure, a bad mistake, to say the least. So we'll see how they deal with that. Now, guys, let's go back to that story we had at the top of the show. We reported earlier, 55-year-old woman, Jeanette LeBlanc from Texas, has reportedly died after contracting a flesh-eating bacteria after eating raw oysters. It's a shocking story.
Yes, definitely. Now, she had trouble breathing and developed sores and rashes and was diagnosed with vibriosis, which is an infection caused by bacteria in the genus Vibrio.
Right.
Now, the thing is, a lot of people consider oysters to be a delicacy. So
Right.
they're wondering now, can we not eat raw oysters at all? And the FDA says the only way to truly protect yourself is to cook your oysters and not eat raw oysters.
Right.
Because even in a fancy establishment, you would think that the oysters must be safe, but it's not necessarily true.
So we have a few facts here that we've been digging around and people's reporting on this. According to the FDA, the only way to truly protect yourself is fully cooked oysters, not raw. Heat's the only thing that will fully destroy bad bacteria. Even if you eat in a fancy restaurant, doesn't mean you can avoid bad bacteria if the food is raw. That's just obviously something there. Also, though, important to note, if you swim in contained water with an open cut or a wound, they say that bad bacteria can get into your bloodstream. So potentially, in theory, the same bad water that an oyster would be filtering, you could get that bacteria through a cut or abrasion or something on your hand. And as we saw, we don't know how she actually contracted it. In that particular story, we do know that as she was shucking the oyster, she also scraped her hand. So it's kind of open as far as like what exactly happened here. But man, it's a scary thing. We just had oysters over Christmas at my aunt's house. We were literally like shucking them, opening them, eating them there. I always have that looming feeling like, ugh, this is.
And I didn't even know this was a thing. So it's good that we can raise awareness to it because it's terrible what happened. Because the oysters feed by filtering water, so if the water is contaminated, then they'll become contaminated. Right. It's rare though, so things that you would experience is they can cause symptoms like diarrhea, vomiting, and abdominal pain.
Yeah, Vibrio, that bacteria apparently is fairly common in much less severe forms. So anyway, something to pay attention to, and certainly our hearts and thoughts and prayers go out to that family and friends of the woman that was lost there. All right, keep the conversation going. Hashtag People Now. We'd love to hear from you. But Andrea, more for us in Star Trek.
Yes, Jeremy, this is a fun one. We are kicking off Star Treks with a shiny update from one of our favorite A-listers. Diamonds are a girl's best friend, and for pop superstar Mariah Carey, they're also a wardrobe necessity. On Tuesday, Mariah responded to a tweet made by NBC suggesting the singer and iconic actress Sharon Stone star in a buddy cop pilot together. But the blonde beauty had one very Mariah requirement for the role, saying she'd only sign on if she could alter the uniforms and add a little sparkle, of course. And since diamonds last forever, Twitter was very much on board. One user writing, "Diamonds, gowns, and divadom, I can see this happening, oddly enough. I can do." Another suggesting diamond handcuffs as a nice prop. Yeah, practical and fabulous. I can get on board. But honestly, guys, why are we not surprised? As this user shows us, Mariah knows how to work those diamonds, and we are totally feeling all the glitz and the glamour. NBC, are you listening? Let's make this happen. I love it. All right, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle made an appearance at a radio station in London Tuesday, marking the second major public royal duty for the couple since their engagement this past November. They were there to check out a program hosted by Represent 107.3 FM that trains youth in radio and broadcasting to positively impact their lives. While out, we couldn't help but notice that Markle sported a look that broke royal-style protocol. She was wearing a messy bun. The messy bun may be a hairstyle most women can relate to. I know I am certainly guilty of the messy bun every day, but it's not the norm for royals. In stark contrast to Meghan, Kate Middleton, she always rocks a bun in a much more structured chignon style. The Duchess has even worn a hairnet while wearing a chignon to ensure not a hair falls out of place. The messy bun is very reflective of Meghan's laid-back California style, and wearing one is yet another sign of Markle blazing her own trail. Perhaps there's a possibility her casual vibes will influence Kate. The Duchess has taken risks in the past with hairbands and a topsy tail, but only time will tell. I'm sure these two will have plenty of time to share style tips in the years to come, and they always look fabulous. Well, while we saw a sea of black dresses and suits at this weekend's Golden Globes in honor of the Time's Up movement, a few stars at the event decided not to take part in the dress code, including Latin actress Blanca Blanco, and people are not happy about it. Blanca opted instead for a one-shoulder crimson-red evening gown with a dramatic hip-high slit and midriff cutout. After walking the red carpet, critics condemned Blanco for stepping outside of the dress code, with many people wondering what she was thinking with her bold choice. One person writing on Twitter, quote, "In a demonstration that's about the abuse, inequality, and objectification of women, this seems like an awkward choice of outfit. Beautiful, but not the time or place, perhaps?" However, some came to the actress's defense on social media, calling out those who shamed her, like Amy, who posted, quote, "I love the dress. Apparently, we have a lot of people who find it appropriate to shame a woman for not conforming. It's ridiculous to claim that just because she didn't wear black to an award show, she supports sexual harassment. Guess we're back to blaming the woman for her attire." And Trisha tweeting in part, quote, "OMG, she wore a red dress. She just allowed 10 more women to get sexually assaulted because of her color choice. She empowered herself in what she felt beautiful in. Why not support her versus attacking?" Blanco says she stands by her choice and is disappointed in the backlash that she has received, tweeting, "The issue is bigger than my dress color. Hashtag Time's Up." And she tells people, quote, "I love red. Wearing red does not mean I am against the movement. I applaud and stand by the courageous actresses that continue to break the cycle of abuse through their actions and fashion style choices." She goes on to add, "I'm excited about the Time's Up movement. True change is long overdue. Shaming is part of the problem." And the California-born actress wasn't the only one to ditch the black for the show. Hollywood Foreign Press President Meher Tatna also wore red, topping off her look with a Time's Up pin. Tatna, whose family is from Mumbai, India, explained on the red carpet that in her culture, quote, "When you have a celebration, you don't wear black." She wanted to say that her mom, quote, "would be appalled if I were to have worn black. So this is for my mom." German model and actress Barbara Meir went with an airy, colorful look as well, explaining, quote, "If we want this to be the Golden Globes of the strong women who stand up for their rights, I think it's the wrong way not to wear any sexy clothes anymore or let people take away our joy of showing our personality through fashion." Well, they say milk does a body good and all that, and Kim Kardashian definitely has an amazing one to show off. The soon-to-be mother of 3 flaunted her curves in a sexy white bra top and matching thong to promote meal replacement shakes on her Instagram. In the caption, Kardashian claims the shakes are helping her reclaim her flat stomach after a very jam-packed holiday season. And now that the holidays are behind us, it's becoming clear that Kim's blonde hair is here to stay, and we love it because it's fabulous on her. Kim opened up in a Q&A sesh on her Twitter Tuesday night, and a fan asked if she's going to go back to dark hair anytime soon. She replied, "Not right now. It'll be years before I go blonde again, so I have to enjoy it." Another fan also asked if Kanye prefers her with dark or blonde hair, and Kim confirmed that blonde has the slight edge. Well, we can't blame him. Kim looks amazing as a blonde, and blondes have more fun, I think. It's not confirmed. Those are your Star Treks for today.
I think it is confirmed. I've been around you a while. You have a lot more fun than I do. Stay with us, guys. Former model Yolanda Hadid reveals why she and her new man share a new appreciation for life. Plus, former Bachelorette star Andi Dorfman joins us live to talk about her new book, Single State of Mind. Stick around for that. But first, it's time for
Oh, Snap!
Angelina Jolie may have brought PAX to the Golden Globes, but on Tuesday, it was Ladies' Night. Jolie took daughters Zahara and Shiloh out to the National Board of Review Awards. It was a gala in New York City where she accepted the Freedom of Expression Award for her film First They Killed My Father. Looking good.
Yeah, they look awesome. And Shiloh was definitely a trooper while supporting mom. She broke her arm snowboarding during a family vacation to the mountains over the holidays. So she doesn't look phased at all. The 11-year-old wore a black sling to match her black suit and was all smiles while holding Jolie's with her good arm. Very sweet.
Very sweet for sure. Chip and Joanna Gaines, they are expecting baby number 5. Another addition is coming, their new restaurant. The Gaines' latest venture, Magnolia Table, is close to opening up shop. The design-savvy couple are no strangers to customizing spaces, so why would their restaurant be any different? They posted pictures of themselves at the construction site on Instagram where they pressed their hands and wrote their names into the freshly poured cement. Chip and Joanna revealing the restaurant was on the way last summer. Now, it's great to see that the whole thing's moving along nicely. We can't wait to track along with them in that.
Yeah, definitely. Well, smile for the camera. Princess Kate snapped photos of her daughter, Princess Charlotte, right before the royal tot headed off to her first day of preschool on Monday. Does it get any cuter? I'm not sure. She is truly her mother's mini-me, rocking a red peacoat, tights, and red Mary Janes with a red bow tied off in her hair. Princess Charlotte now officially attends Wilcox Nursery School, which is not too far from her home at Kensington Palace. Very adorable, and while Kate is quite the photographer, these photos are amazing.
Guys, 53-year-old former model and manager Yolanda Hadid is revealing details about her new boyfriend and what she is calling the most exciting time of her life.
I really wanted to take the time, this time, to heal from not only Lyme disease, but my divorce, and really step into my own power as an independent woman and just feel whole on my own for the first time in, 53 years. And so I really took that time. I didn't want to date, I didn't want to meet anybody. And, a couple of months ago, I really started focusing. I made a love spiral and wrote down exactly everything that was important to me in a man. And he magically just rang the doorbell at the farm, and it's just amazing.
Is he a good farmhand?
He's cute, yeah.
How has he helped you along your journey to healing?
When you meet somebody that thought he was going to die, like I felt I was going to die, you have a whole new appreciation for life. Wow. And we kind of share that, so that's really already, a common bond that we have. To live in the moment, enjoy every day, and not wait. Why take it slow? Let's just go for it and have a great time.
Well, you guys are gonna have a lot of fun.
We're having fun already.
So happy for her, and the momager isn't the only Hadid feeling the love. Daughter Gigi and longtime boyfriend Zayn Malik seem to have a fairy tale romance of their own. So how does the former One Directioner fit into the supermodel family?
He's He's my son too now.
Yeah.
I have 4 kids now.
He's in there, right?
He's in there, yes.
Yeah.
He's,
Were you guys
part
all
of the
together
family.
for the holidays and everything?
Yes, all together, yes.
Yeah. And
he's a sweetheart.
when his new music videos come out, I watch them on repeat and I drive everyone around here crazy, even though they love him too.
You know, he's working really hard. He's in the studio making a lot of amazing songs, and I can't wait.
Do you get little preview clips?
Yes,
You get to
every
test
day,
it?
yes.
Oh, really?
He's amazing, yeah.
You're in there.
I love it.
Thumbs
I'm
up.
a big supporter, you know.
Is he the one here? Is he the long term for her?
You know, we don't. I can't say anything about that. You know, that's
Okay.
their journey. But you know, I love him, so
All right.
we'll see.
Yeah, we're certainly pulling for them. And guys, stick around. We have an exclusive first look at Yolanda Hadid's new show, Making a Model. That is coming up in just a bit.
Gwyneth Paltrow is blissfully in love and officially engaged. She confirmed the happy news in the cover story for Goop Magazine this week. Now, sources are telling people why her fiancé, Glee and American Horror Story producer Brad Falchuk, is the one for her. A Falchuk source saying, quote, Gwyneth is fascinated by Brad and she feels comfortable with his family. She has found the right guy. Another source adding, they have a very easy relationship. They both work a lot, but they manage to make everything look easy. When they're apart, he likes to FaceTime Gwyneth and she always has a huge smile when he does. He still makes her blush. A source says one of the couple's favorite things to do is try out new restaurants together, and Brad himself reveals in the Goop story that he enjoys cooking for Gwyneth at home as well. But it's not always easy because he has endured her infamous cleanses. He jokes, quote, anytime she can't eat something fried is tough. Mama needs her fries. As for Gwyneth, she opens up in Goop Magazine about her decision to marry again, revealing, quote, I've decided to give love a go again, not only because I believe I have found the man I was meant to be with, but because I've accepted the soul-stretching, pattern-breaking opportunities that terrifyingly are made possible by intimacy. Well, we all remember when Gwyneth famously consciously uncoupled with Coldplay's Chris Martin in 2014 after 11 years and 2 children together. This will also be the second marriage for Brad, who has 2 children as well. So will it be an easy feat merging the 2 families into one? Sources say yes. In fact, an insider tells people, quote, Chris accepted Brad a long time ago, adding that their kids, quote, have fun together. Gwyneth even posts snapshots like this one of Chris and Brad on her social media. It's a total modern family and we love it. The happy couple first went public with their romance back in April of 2015 at Robert Downey Jr.'s 50th birthday bash. Before that, they had been linked for over a year, but flew under the radar with their relationship. So now that they've gone public with their engagement, when will wedding bells officially ring? A friend tells people that while there's no rush, one thing is for certain, quote, they're crazy about each other. Well, former Bachelorette Andi Dorfman may no longer be handing out the roses, but she is spilling all the tea when it comes to her single lady adventures in the Big Apple.
We're loving it. And Andi joins us live in studio to tell us all about it. Welcome to the show. Happy to have you.
Yeah, welcome.
Now you're handing out books. Forget the roses. Just, you get a book. You get a book. You hold nothing back in this book. It's single state of mind, sex, disastrous dates, breakups. What were you most nervous about sharing?
Oh, all of it. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously I have a father, so for my father to have to read it, which I told him he's not allowed to.
Like, Dad, here are the pages to avoid.
Yeah, no, I was like, just avoid this one. The first book, it's not okay. I was like, stop reading after this page. This book, I was like, don't even start reading.
Yeah.
Do you think he's not going to read it, though?
I don't know. I don't think he's going to read this one.
So did anyone, were there any, from editors and friends and whatever, were there any sort of flags thrown like, hey, maybe you should reconsider certain intimate details?
No, I'm pretty cautious, and so it was more of my editors pushing me to reveal even more.
Okay, you've got your own solid filter, so
Oh,
open
yeah.
that up a little.
Oh yeah,
Okay,
I definitely have a filter. You wouldn't think so reading the book, which is scary
Which
because that
is-
means there's even more disastrous
Right,
dating
right.
that I didn't talk about. But no, it was more kind of reeling it in.
All right.
Yeah, I like it. I think more details, the better. 'Cause then it's very
Easy for us to say about your life.
Yeah, exactly. But the whole book, I mean, it hinges on your move to New York City
Yeah.
3 years ago, which
Yep.
that must have just flew by.
Yeah.
But this was after your messy breakup with ex Josh Murray. What were the biggest changes going from soon-to-be married fiance to single New Yorker? Those are 2 separate things.
Completely separate. I mean, total identity crisis. I think what people don't realize is when you go on The Bachelor and The Bachelorette, you kind of have this identity change, especially when you get off and you're engaged. And then all of a sudden to be single and you're like, wow, I'm no longer a bachelorette, but I'm also no longer engaged. I am now single and in a totally different world. So I think that was the biggest change for me, and that was the hardest change, was just kind of like reinventing my identity in that sense.
Single, and everyone's watching, and everyone knows what happened. So it's
Yeah.
like all this added like external pressure, I would imagine.
That was a whole nother.
Yeah. So speaking of Josh, you write that it was strange watching him propose to Amanda Stanton on Bachelor in Paradise.
Yeah.
They've broken up since. But were you surprised that Amanda fell for him despite your first book and all the warning signs? You put it out there.
Yeah, I don't know if she read the first book, but yeah,
I guess not. Apparently.
Yeah.
I know, apparently not. Or you know what? To each their own. If you want to make your own decision, I totally respect that. Totally get that. But yeah, I mean, it's just strange. Like, can you imagine watching your ex not only get engaged, but engaged on national television, in public, and on a franchise show? So. Yeah, a little strange.
Yeah, well, clearly you've moved on.
Yeah.
As we know.
Yeah.
Besides dating the old-fashioned way, you also dabble in dating apps. I know Chris Harrison introduced you to a dating app as well.
Yep.
He's
in the doghouse for it too. I
Is
tell him
he?
all the time.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. He introduced me to this dating app. He said it was very cool, selective, blah blah blah. 1 million disastrous dates came out of it. And so, yeah, he's officially in the doghouse forever now.
Thanks for the terrible advice, Chris
I don't know,
Harrison.
because everyone has their bio and everything on the dating apps.
Yeah.
What's your, do you have a cheesy one-liner or something that...
No, maybe that's why I get terrible dates.
That's gotta be what it is.
Maybe
yeah.
I should do a cheesy
Yeah.
one.
You gotta think of something.
Do you try, I always wonder, do you try to pretend that you're not, we're on The Bachelorette and everything?
Good question. I kind of just don't bring it up. Like if I go on a date, I just don't bring it up. Some guys will bring it up. Some bring it up in better ways than others. But yeah, I kind of just like skirt the issue.
Yeah, I mean, eventually they're gonna find out.
Yeah, we're gonna find out. Yeah,
sure.
I guess it is a weird toss-up. Like, do you just come out with it, or do you just wait?
Right,
and I
because
guess
you don't
waiting.
want to be pretentious and be like, oh, I was on The Bachelorette, but then you don't want to be like lying and
Yeah.
kind of misleading.
So what's been the key, or maybe one piece of advice for successful online dating?
Ugh, I wouldn't know.
Do you know the wrong person to ask? Let me know. You're like, let me know when you find out.
Maybe
someone
you
else.
could like read the book and decipher what went wrong and let me know. That would be great.
Yeah. Okay. Good. I guess we'll wait. It's for your update on that.
Yeah. You talk about freezing your eggs in the book, and just
Yeah.
told GMA that you often, felt embarrassed and ashamed going through the process. What's the response been like from women who are going through similar things?
It's actually in just one day been like an incredible response. I think a lot of people appreciated the fact that I was honest in the sense of I wasn't really excited to freeze my eggs. I wasn't proud, and I didn't have anyone there with me, like a boyfriend or a significant other or husband. And I think people really related to the fact that not everyone goes through it with this cheery attitude. I felt a sense of failure. I wanted to be at a certain point in my life, and I found myself not at that point in my life. And I had to kind of push everything aside and say to myself, okay, the reality is I'm about to be 30. I definitely want kids. I definitely want a family someday. And I'm just not there yet. And I kind of had to just choose the smart decision over my ego and my emotions. And a lot of people have said that they've felt the same way. And it's encouraged them to kind of push aside their own ego and just go with the smart decision.
I think that's really great, and I think a lot of people relate to that. And look, it's a viable option that people should be able to enter into without shame and some feeling of guilt or whatever. And it's
Yeah.
great that you're being a voice for so many people in that category. And
Now I'm wondering, maybe I should do that too.
Yeah, and you
guys
can't
exchange
help
info.
feeling. Yeah, you can't help feeling embarrassed. And you can't, those feelings are okay to have, and that's what the book talks about. Is like you can't control those emotions, but you can control whether or not you decide to do it. And ultimately, I am very glad that I decided to do it despite my emotions.
So on a bit of a different note, look, you've been playing a little coy about whether or not you have actually found love today. Can you at least answer this? What are your most sort of top of the list must-have non-negotiables when it comes to Mr. Right?
Oh, non-negotiables. Okay, I definitely need someone that wants kids.
Okay.
That's number one for me. I just don't want to look back 10, 15 years from now and regret having not had kids and gone with love over babies.
Sure. And anyone that you might be meeting new now that does a quick Google search will know that that's true of you, and that'll be a quick thing, right?
Put that down there. I want someone that's supportive. A non-negotiable obviously is somebody who is controlling, non-supportive of me, and I just ultimately want someone nice and loving.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised how hard that is to find.
Especially in New York.
Especially in New York.
Yeah.
I'm like, I feel like we need to have some tea afterwards.
Yeah, I know. It is.
Still in the New York dating
It's
team.
rough. It is rough.
Yes.
Of course, we got to talk a little Bachelor. Are you watching this season?
I am, yeah.
Yeah. What do you think of our new Bachelor, Ari? Are you a
I
fan?
actually really like him. I didn't know what to think about him because obviously, we're bringing back old school a little bit. But I felt like he's been really nurturing. I felt like he's been sensitive and attentive to everyone. Even the other night when and the girl just kind of walked off set.
Yeah, he went
like
after her,
actually
right.
went after her and like wanted to explain
And then she gave him a big zing and then walked
my
on out.
gosh, she had some gumption there to be like, I'm just sad that I'm leaving my friends.
Did any guys ever do that to you that weren't shown on the show?
They didn't say it to my face if they did it. I'm sure some of them were more sad to leave their friends. There were a couple guys who actually, after I sent them home in Europe, asked the producers if they could delay their flight, and they like went backpacking in Europe together for a couple
my
Oh, that's really fun. You made you turned out to like structure this great guys trip.
Well, I'm glad you guys can have your bro
At Mental,
time.
I was like, you guys can't say anything mean to me because I know you went backpacking in Europe, and you're welcome.
Yeah. So far, I think Ari is doing a good job. If you were in his position, what's your biggest piece of advice for him if you could talk to him?
Oh, I would say, honestly, and I know this sounds really generic, but enjoy it. It's so easy to get caught up in the time and in everyone's feelings and just the production. And you kind of forget that you're traveling around the world and doing something that you're never going to get to do again in your life.
Yeah, soak it up, enjoy it.
So
Enjoy it while it
I
lasts.
like
Yeah.
On a more serious note here, in all things the world of Bachelor, former Bachelor Chris Soules just was set to face trial January 18th after that deadly car crash in April. It made a lot of headlines. That whole thing was postponed yesterday. The two of you grabbed lunch in September.
Yeah.
How's he doing? What's the status
He's
with him?
hanging in there. He's hanging in there. I mean, obviously, very tough, very sad situation for him, for all of us to hear about. But he's hanging in there. He's got a great family that's supporting him, great friends, so.
Yeah. Do you guys communicate pretty regularly?
Yeah, I keep in touch with him pretty often, especially right now, during this time. But hanging in there, we're hoping for the best, and,
Well, we're glad to hear that he's doing well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for
Good to
having
talk to you
me.
guys. Don't forget to check out the new book, Single State of Mind. It is available everywhere right now. And don't go anywhere yet. Andi will be back for one last thing. We'll see how that goes. Stick around.
Kevin, can you stop? I'm flustered, and it's not kind of you.
Well,
what
just
you're
admit that you love Randall more. We can stop pretending to be
No,
this
he was
perfect
just
little family.
easier. He was easier, and he didn't recoil when I touched him, and he wasn't some sullen teenager who was angry at me for no reason, and he didn't abandon me and move away after his father died.
Oh man, things got real for the Pearson family Tuesday night on a new episode of This Is Us. The NBC hit show jumped a month in the present-day timeline to Kevin recovering in rehab after his drunken bender that we witnessed in the beginning of season 2. Now, in the episode, his entire family goes to visit Kevin at the swanky rehab facility, but only Kate, Randall, and his mom, Rebecca, are allowed to take part in a family therapy session. That's where Kevin very genuinely and solemnly apologizes to the three, admitting that he, quote, hit a low point. But his therapist pushes him to discuss the work that he's done in therapy about where his addictions might stem from. Kevin goes on to say that he's felt like the fifth wheel of the family for his entire life, so he replaced those feelings with football and acting, and that it was, quote, only a matter of time before he filled that void with something else, which became alcohol and pills. This statement left Kate confused, Randall offended, and Rebecca devastated. Kevin then goes on to push his mother to admit that Randall has always been his favorite until she finally erupts and admits that he was just easier. In the end, the three siblings come together and admit that they all have different perspectives on their childhood, and they have to respect that. Whew, a lot going on there, guys. You can watch NBC's This Is Us Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern.
We own the market for styling curvy brides.
I just want to find a dress that really fits.
It's so like bam.
Ooh, PeopleTV is premiering a new series, The Perfect Fit. It follows curvy brides-to-be on the hunt for the perfect wedding gown in Chicago's Oat & Co. bridal boutique. Chanel Armstrong Fowler owns the boutique and is dedicated to help each bride style, snatch, and slay.
Style is what, as bridal stylists, what we do. When you walk in, we ask you what your vision is, and we really work incredibly hard to bring your vision to life. That's the ultimate style. Snatch is when we bring in that waist as tight and hug those curves as close as you're comfortable. And slay is when we put that entire look together and you have completely slayed your wedding day. And at the end, we say, good day.
I love it. Chanel and her team of consultants are often referred to as fairy godmothers, making curvy brides' dreams come true. Oat & Co. offers sizes from 14 to 32, and it all started because Chanel saw a friend in need.
When I was getting married, a colleague was getting married as well, and she hadn't gotten her gown, and she shared with me that she was being discouraged by bridal shop boutiques as well as, designers that they didn't have, gowns in her size, or they didn't have samples for her to try on. And so because she was a size 26, she didn't have any options for a wedding gown.
So Chanel took her retail experience and knew that she could impact a lot of people's lives by opening a plus-size bridal boutique. So what is Chanel's #1 tip for curvy brides about to start the process of finding a wedding dress? Do your research. She says to call the bridal store to see what sizes and designers they carry. But what is worse than having trouble finding the perfect dress? Being uncomfortable in your dream dress on your wedding day, of course. But do not worry, Chanel, who wore Converse shoes on her wedding day, which is incredible, has some tips for that as well.
I always like to say when it comes to undergarments, with the exception of having like a long line bra or something that's really going to cinch you in and hold you together as a foundation, keep the sexy undies for later. Wear simple cotton underwear. Maybe that could be your something blue. If you actually are going to do a shoe change, be clear that that's going to change your hem of your gown. So you might want to measure your hem of your gown to your last shoe. And ultimately, you have to be comfortable in anything that you wear. We all been in situations where we've either worn a shirt, a skirt, a dress, and we literally were just so uncomfortable, and that's all we focused on. What we want you to focus on is really enjoying your day, enjoying this moment with your now husband, because I often like to tell my brides that, this bride town is a layover to the wife world, and the wife world is a lot of fun and it's serious, so enjoy this transition to your next destination.
Guys, Yolanda Hadid, momager of supermodels Gigi and Bella, must know a thing or two about the fashion world, right? The former Real Housewives of Beverly Hills star is now sharing her Hadid expertise with other mother-daughter duos. And we have your exclusive first look. Check this out.
Kenzie and Teresa. This is the image that you chose.
Yes.
I love the way you use the location. To me, I'm like, okay, that's Times Square. But there's something about the image that doesn't capture me. I think it's too posed, and you're a lot more beautiful than this.
Well, it was kind of stressful because we just got like 30 minutes, got to take all these pictures, got to choose a picture, got to buy something.
I thought we did well. Kenzie listened for the most part.
The most part?
Yeah, in the beginning, I think she forgot that I was in charge.
And I also saw you shush your mom. I didn't like that.
Synopsis of program.
Like you want to know some of the content?
I don't want to know shit. That's what the question is.
Synopsis means a brief description.
All right. Reality show with a lot of fun and investment.
Oh man, if everything is bigger in Texas, then you can guarantee that Rooster and Butch are going to do things big in their new A&E series, aptly named Rooster and Butch. These self-made millionaires are taking their money and investing in entrepreneurs, but with a small twist. They want to get to know the character of the entrepreneur before the idea.
I don't know if you've ever been in sales or not. When you walk into an office and the guy's sitting behind the desk, he knows he has the advantage of it. You're intimidating, you got 15 minutes or so, or whatever it is, you got to keep his interest. This way that we've always done, they got time. This way that, we level the playing field. It's a condensed version of how he and I have done business over our life.
Okay.
Getting to know the person first. You got to get to know the person before you ever get into the business. And the exciting thing about it is that it's a lot of fun. We have a good time. I mean, we're not going to have. I've always got a saying when I'd rather have fun losing money than I would have fun be miserable making
it.
You nailed it.
Yes, great idea.
Great idea.
We're having a great time interacting with them and helping them, hopefully helping them to see that, their dream or their goals come to fruition.
All right. Did you hear the McConaughey in there?
I did.
Rooster is Matthew McConaughey's brother. Yeah, there you can kind of see it too a little bit.
I didn't even realize that.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously they have the same last name. You would think you'd put two and two together. But now it's confirmed.
In other trending news, the hashtag stupid questions for Alexa is trending on Twitter right now, and this is hilarious. There's some great tweets from people asking Amazon's digital assistant, Alexa, some pretty absurd questions.
Yeah, Jennifer says, find me $1 million, Alexa.
Do you have an Alexa?
I do have an Alexa.
I've been trying to figure out some stupid questions to ask, and it's amazing what she actually has answers to. Here's another one. What was in the suitcase in Pulp Fiction?
I don't
know
think
what
she
she'd say to that.
Yeah, now we need to know the answers. Cool Chris says, how much does it cost to pay attention? Nice.
Why do I sense a tone whenever you answer me, Alexa? Oh, Linda taking some issue with Alexa's tone. I think she's friendly.
Oh, this is a good one. Why I'm still single? I would like to ask that too.
So they have a few built-in kind of quippy responses. That one would probably be a good one.
The tone question reminds me that when I talk to Alexa, I feel like I'm kind of mean because I'm like, Alexa. Like I'm always kind of yelling a little bit.
Yeah, you can say it. One of the interesting things about Alexa is you can say it like just in conversation. She picks right up.
Yes.
You don't have to yell it. Don't yell at her. Just say it, Alexa.
I know. I need to work on that.
Here's a funny one that I loved. At the movie theater, which armrest is mine, Alexa?
Oh, all the
Which one?
questions.
You have to negotiate this. Same on the airplane. Coming up tomorrow, cast of MTV's Siesta Key joins us live, tells us all about the hit reality show, which returns on January 15th. And who knows, maybe they have some questions for Alexa. I don't know. Plus, Golden Globe winning actor Hugh Grant sits down with People in EW's editorial director, Jess Cagle, where he reveals what it was like working with his past co-stars over the years. Really great interview.
Thank you so much for watching. For now, we leave you with one last thing with former Bachelorette Andi Dorfman. Take it away, Andi.
Hi, I'm Andi Dorfman, and this is One Last Thing. My last girls' night was last night in downtown Chinatown, eating lo mein and sesame chicken. My last big splurge was my trip to Paris. And finally, the last TV show I binged watched was The Crown.